To the podcast, everyone. I am your host, Greg Chatmendy, of course, with the famous Gavin Modrizzle.
Yes.
And today is the first inaugural weekly breakdown of everything going on in Week 1. The only games that will never be included are Thursday nights, which, of course, the Buccaneers won. So we have some things planned for this stream. First, we're gonna talk about this Thursday night game. Then, we're gonna do predictions for the rest of these. And third, we're gonna do our power rankings of how the teams look. And we will take into account this Thursday game, and it probably only hurts the Buccaneers. Even though they may have won, they did not look good doing it. Tom Brady looked alright. No one else did.
Godwin.
Yeah, then he fumbled, and then everyone just kind of has mixed feelings about him, even though he didn't really do anything wrong. Like, OPI happens all the time. But I guess we're just gonna go hop straight into it. As a Buccaneers fan, Gavin, do you think it was OPI? All bias aside, just like, did he push off? Yes or no?
Well, so I feel like there has to be like a defined thing, and maybe he did. He might have pushed off. You know what? He definitely pushed off. But I don't think it's offensive pass interference, because that happens all the time and it's not called. I mean, you can't really just be like, oh, he pushed off, it's a penalty.
Well, I think it's different in the way that a slight push off at the waist happens all the time. That's never called. That's why elite receivers all the time will push off at the corner's waist, because that'll never get caught. But he pretty much stiff-armed the corner, which is definitely obstructing the defender's ability to play on the ball, and in a different way than just boxing him out. So I think it was OPI. And either way, the Bucs did not deserve to win that game. They played sloppy football, fumbles all over the place. Leonard Fournette pretty much saying, I don't want to fumble the ball, so I'm going to have instead Tom Brady throw a pick. Penalty after penalty after penalty. The Bucs looked undisciplined, they looked sloppy, and they looked lost. And people are going to say, well, Antonio Brown and Tom Brady looked good. Well, okay, sure, those two looked good. Except for when Tom Brady punched that guy in the face, and that wasn't called a penalty. Well, you know, it was.
Tom Brady punched someone.
No, Antonio Brown punched someone. I think he was. Okay. I think there was a. It was after the Chris Godwin fumble. He was going to block, or someone was going to block him, and he just punched him in the face, I think. He might have. I don't know. I'm also blind. Anyway, those two looked good. Mike Evans didn't get targeted the entire game. They pretty much force-fed the ball to Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette did not look good. Ronald Jones fumbled pretty much on his first carry of the game. I think it was his second maybe. And he fumbled. We didn't see that Ronald Jones the rest of the night. Scotty Miller was nowhere to be seen. Mike Evans nowhere to be seen. It was just Gronk and Antonio Brown. On top of that, constant holding. It felt like every other play was holding on the Bucs, whether it was defense or offense. They just couldn't let go. The Bucs team looked sloppy, and the Cowboys team looked impressive besides Dak trying to throw picks on purpose sometimes, it felt like. Any thoughts?
Yeah. You know, I don't really want to talk. I mean, it's week 1, so it's hard to really say much about it. I mean, I don't know, but there's definitely some Super Bowl hangover there, because they just walked into that game and they're like, oh, we're gonna win. And then the Cowboys should have beat them. I mean, that's what should have happened there, but Greg, line just gave us the win. So, you know.
And Mike McCarthy. You can't forget about the two of them. It was a combined effort, group effort.
Yeah.
I would also like to talk about the Buccaneers DBs, who were pretty much getting injured every other play, and when they weren't getting injured, they were getting burnt in coverage. Sean Murphy-Bunting's probably going to miss sizable time. Was it dislocated, right? It wasn't broken, it was dislocated. I think there's a break.
I didn't get a notification about it, to be honest.
I think it was a dislocation. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that. Carlton Davis existed. He was all right. He was. I think he was actually pretty good. He was like the only thing on that defense I'm going to say that wasn't terrible. Shaq Barrett was actually pretty good. Shaq Barrett played well.
Yeah, he really good.
Vita Vea was also really, really good. But besides, like, those three guys, like Devin White was in covers the entire game. Duh. He can't cover. He's a great blitz linebacker, really good at stopping the run. Can't cover anyone. He probably couldn't even cover Blake Jarwin if he wanted. In fact, he couldn't even cover Dalton Schultz. And they're putting him
just a elbow.
Yeah. And they were putting Devin White on, like, Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper, and it's like, what do you think's going to happen? Levante David.
Ross Cockrell was on Amari Cooper for most of the game, too.
Yeah, that's why Amari Cooper went off, probably, if I were to guess. They really made a focus of getting CeeDee Lamb involved, though. They really found a way to get the ball in his hands, which I think is smart because he's really good after the catch. So, one more thing. This is something I'm gonna nitpick the Cowboys on. Zeke, when he got his hands on the ball, looked like he didn't know what to do with it. He only had 15 carries, but those 15 carries did not look good.
Yeah, like 40 some yards in those carries too. Like, it wasn't a great night.
Tony Pollard only had 3 carries, but Tony Pollard was really involved with the screens, and Tony Pollard looked good. Zeke, when he got screens, didn't. Now, Zeke did a really good job in one thing, though, that I think is getting overlooked, is that Todd Bowles just blitz everyone and hope the corners don't have to cover anyone defense. Zeke was picking up the blitzers really well. He's really good at picking up blitzes. But you don't want your number one running back's best quality be that he can block. At that point, he's a fullback getting paid $10 million. So anyway, the Buccaneers won that game. Last second kick by Ryan Succop. It was good. And I think everything that we need to say about that game has been said. Is there anything you want to add?
Get Mike Evans involved more. He was very quiet. Didn't like it.
Unironically, the best running back on the Buccaneers was Giovanni Bernard.
Yeah.
All right, on to the predictions portion. If I were to guess, just by what I've seen so far out of us two, most of these games are going to be the same. So there'll be little debating this time, but in the future, I'm sure there will be much more debating. All right, the first game on the list here, Jaguars at Texans.
Jaguars sucks.
I have the Jaguars because the Texans are starting Tyrod Taylor, and nothing against Tyrod, but Deshaun Watson's the only person with that team that could ever win a game. So,
No.
You say no? Hello?
I also have the Jaguar.
Alright, he's lagging out. He's coming in and out. Alright. There he goes. Alright, his internet's out. So I'll explain my reasoning before Gavin gets back. First things first, they don't have an interior. James Robinson's just going to keep balling through. Even if Trevor Lawrence has those rookie shakes, James Robinson's just going to be a bowling ball. Like, you're back already? No, I couldn't.
Okay. I have the Jaguars winning. I don't. But
and there he goes again.
Just solid.
Uh-huh.
I think he can win a game, but it's gonna be the Texans defense, and
All right, I'll
Justin
Justin Reed
can't be everywhere on the field. They need something. And Jaguars to Urban Meyer's first victory as a head coach.
And maybe his only victory as a head coach. Actually, no, they played the Texans twice. I'm gonna translate what Gavin said because he was cutting in and out. He thinks Tyrod Taylor's pretty much a serviceable quarterback. He thinks he could win, but it comes down to the defense, and Justin Reed can't do everything. So that's the translation. I think the Jaguars are going to win, also because of their defense. They have no one in that front seven. They have Zach Cunningham, but Zach Cunningham isn't going to be able to stop the run. Trevor Lawrence is going to have all day to throw. 0 pass rush on that team. He could literally sit in the pocket. He could literally, if it wasn't marked as down, he could take a seat, sit there for like 20 seconds, and stand back up, and he'd still have time in the pocket. Like, that's how little pass rush they have. And they also brought in Marvin Jones. The Jaguars are just a better team. And as long as Urban Meyer does pretty much basic coaching, the Jaguars should win this game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next we have the Washington football team taking on the Los Angeles Chargers.
This game isn't really split on them, but I'll let you go first.
Oh, me? All right. I'm going to pick the football team just because they're home. I think these two teams, I think a lot of people are going to take the Chargers here because the Chargers have been really hyped this offseason, which I feel like is a trap to fall into.
I mean, I've been hyping them since, like, a long time ago.
Like, pretty much the Chargers, like, the internet has built this, like, dam for them. Like, a really thin wall of protection. And now they have to...
They have a defense.
Yeah, they have no one at corner besides Chris Harris. Safety, Derwin James is there. He'll probably be injured. He'll probably tear an ACL, like, next week. So, I mean, Nasir Adderley hasn't done anything in the NFL. They're getting Drew Tranquil back, I guess, is a good thing. Joey Bosa's there. I think he got paid boohoo bucks.
Kinda, yeah.
As he probably should. Derwin James got an extension too, I think, recently for a lot of money, even though he hasn't played in like 2 years.
2 years.
I just have the football team because their team is still pretty much the same as it was last year, just with Ryan Fitzpatrick instead of Alex Smith, Taylor Heineke, or Dwayne Haskins. Taylor Heineke's still on the team. Weird how he's the only one that made it out of that list. But Fitzpatrick has that it factor to him where he's either gonna win you the game or he's gonna look flashy losing it, if you know what I mean. That defense, I think the football team defense is better than the Chargers offense. And I think the football team offense is leagues better than the Chargers defense. I think the only problem they might have is a kind of a lackluster O-line with Joey Bosa and Chenna Nwosu. That might be a problem. But Ryan Fitzpatrick has He had to show fear and just kind of throwing the ball deep when he's about to get hit. You saw that Raiders-Dolphins game last year. His head was at a 90-degree angle, and he just kind of threw it deep anyway.
I have the football team winning this game.
Also, one more thing. It's Staley's first game as a head coach against Ron Rivera. I don't think it's really a fair coaching matchup.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too with the coaching. I really like the Chargers. I think they're going to be a playoff team, but
I think they'll be competing for a playoff spot too. It's just, I really like the football team.
I think the biggest issue I'm having is it's going to be Rashawn Slater's first NFL game, and he's going to go up against Chase Young.
He did that. He was pretty good at that at Northwestern.
He was indeed good at that in Northwestern, but I feel like it's be rough for him to where Justin Herbert's gonna have to be running for his life a bit.
I also wonder, can Brian Bulaga? Brian Bulaga, can he handle the speed of Montez Sweat on the other side at his ripe old age?
Won't.
Hey, you know the middle school, they paid Corey Lindsey a ton of money.
Well, the middle's not good. They still have a left and right guard that's kind of.
Well, Stamp's alright. They got.
Is he even still there? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
And either way, come on, they have 3 amazing interior defensive linemen. They have Deron Payne, they have Matt Ioannidis, they have the third one, Jonathan Allen. They have all 3 of those guys. All those guys would be a DT1 on any other team, and one of them isn't even gonna start. That's how good the football team is. Like defensively in that front 7. Cole Holcomb, I like Jamin Davis. Cole Holcomb's there. John Bostic's probably going to get suspended for targeting again. Cameron Curl. Yeah, football team. Yay. Would you like to take the reins on Seahawks Colts?
All I wanted was to talk while playing.
Alright, well, Gavin's internet crashed, so we're going to rock with it. Alright, so, Seahawks Colts. Let me move closer to the mic now. This is the game I was most torn on. Because the Colts are home, they have a good defense. I have questions with their offense. Even if Carson Wentz is good, they don't really have weapons for him to throw to. They have good running backs. They have a good running back room. Really good running back room. They have Naheem Hines, Marlon Mack, and Jonathan Taylor. Really good room. Their O-line's good. Besides the fact that Quentin Nelson probably won't be there. You know, the best part of it. Whatever. However, Russell Wilson plays his best football at the beginning of the season. Every single year. Russell Wilson plays his best at the beginning of the season. Carson Wentz is still probably in his new honeymoon phase. Their defense looks really bad. I'll admit, the Seahawks defense probably even looks worse than the Colts offense. However, that Seahawks offense, with Russell Wilson at the beginning of the season, probably aiming for the throat to kill.
Haven't talked in a while, but I guess we're busy.
So, I have Seahawks. I think this game could go either way, though. Gavin, you here?
Yeah.
Alright, you can go.
So Seahawks probably win this game. I don't know if Colts have big players injured. the Seahawks going to be good to start the season. Yeah.
All right. Would you like to take the reins on Jets Panthers?
Panthers win. All I need to say.
Yeah. I'll expand on it a little bit more. Let me just compare Jets offense against Panthers defense. All right. Jets best receiving option, Corey Davis. All right. Dante Jackson's the best corner, or J.C. Horn. I don't know who's gonna be number one. I would give that to Corey Davis. Corey Davis is pretty good. He was really, really good last year. Right. So it's 1 point Jets. All right. So now let's go to running back. Who's the starter for the Jets? I don't know. All right, now let's check out who's probably going to be dealing with that. The defensive line, the front seven of the Panthers. So they have Shaq Thompson, I think. That's his name?
Yes.
They have Brian Burns. They have... What's his name in the second year? Oh my god, what's his name? D-tackle.
Derek Brown.
That one. Him in the second year. Jeremy Chin will probably be in the box a lot. And I give that one to the Panthers.
And you also have...
They have someone else too. I can't remember his name though.
Cardinals guy.
I don't remember.
Hassan Reddick.
Oh yeah. He's there. I think the Panthers demolished in that front. That also means they demolish on the pass rush because the best Jets offensive lineman, Mekhi Becton. I would take Brian Burns. I think Brian Burns and Mekhi Becton would be a fun matchup. They probably won't even go against each other. But Hassan Reddick, Mekhi Becton is going to be a pretty good matchup. / Turgos Matos / whoever the hell is starting. I'd give that to Panthers. That's 2 points Panthers. Now we go to quarterback. We have Zach Wilson, Sam Darnold. I would say this is probably a tie.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, Sam Darnold has more experience, but is it good experience? I just think the Panthers are a better team.
Anymore, let me know, but you'll probably be busy.
I just think the Panthers are a better team. It's interesting to see how Robert Saleh is gonna coach this Jets team, but I'm gonna give it to the Panthers. Would you like Vikings Bengals too, Gavin?
I think it's pretty easy to see that. Like, they could literally run with Dalvin Cook all game, and they'd be fine. Like, they don't even need to throw to Justin Jefferson or Adam Thielen. It's the Bengals. What are they gonna do? Have Sam Hubbard try to tackle him?
No, they're gonna have him rush the ball.
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson will come off the edge and over pursue, do his thing.
Forget that Cam Jordan's not on his team anymore, so he can't reap the rewards.
Yeah. I don't know. And what linebacker? Logan Wilson? He might do something. Maybe Jesse Bates will make a tackle.
Is he even going to play, or is he holding out? I know he's having contract problems.
I think he'll play still. I feel like holding out doesn't make much sense for him here. Because if he doesn't want to be with the Bengals, you want to, like, put out a nice resume and be like, I could be a star safety.
Now, I reckon this game is going to be one magic piece of trash that we're going to witness on the football field. You might be thinking, oh, this Vikings defense is going to be so good. Kirk Cousins is super underrated, says every Twitter person that was clowning on him week 7 last year. They have Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. They boosted the offensive line. They have Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison. How is everyone going to stop this offense? Well, you see, it's the magic of Kirk Cousins, where he simply will just miss his throws. And he's like, but his pick numbers are low. Well, when you make the right read with such good receivers, if you overthrow the receiver, it's not going to be picked. And on top of that Vikings defense is somehow worse than the Bengals. It's Ronnie Harrison, Eric Kendricks, Daniil Hunter, and that's it. Maybe I'd say Anthony Barr like 5 years ago. But there's 3 players of note on the Vikings defense. And spoiler alert, 3 players can't play every position. And I would say the Bengals actually have a deeper receiving room than the Vikings. Jamar Chase will probably eventually learn how to catch, I hope. Tyler Boyd is a really good slot receiver, super underrated. T. Higgins going to his second year. Auden Tate, super underrated receiver. They have 4 guys out there, and then sure they have a tight end position. Technically, C.J. Ozoma's out there, I guess. Drew Sample, I don't know. But none of these teams' O-lines are exceptional at pass blocking either way. The Vikings is probably better than the Bengals at running. But the Bengals did actually bolster their front 7. They've brought in a bunch of guys the past 2 years. And sure, Dalvin Cook is probably going to run for like 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. But like 2 years ago, he probably would have rushed for 300 yards. No, that Geno Atkins was there. Last year, he probably would have ran for like 300 yards and 17 touchdowns. So I have the Bengals as an upset.
Really?
Yes.
I must have missed that. I guess I probably just skipped over it. I'm like, okay, that's a Vikings win. Didn't even consider that you would choose the Bengals.
Is there a problem?
You have the right to your opinion, man.
Alright, fine. I'll set the Vikings as a force win, but I'm still picking the Bengals. Alright, I'll take the lead on this one. Alright, Niners line. Okay, I'm kidding. It's the Cardinals and it's the Titans. You see, the Cardinals defense, they added J.J. Watt, but they forgot about linebackers. Sure, they drafted Zaven Collins.
Corners.
They also don't have corners either. Yeah, they don't really have anything besides Budda Baker and Chandler Jones. Is he even playing? Is he still holding out?
And Isaiah Simmons, if he decides.
No, he'll be a special teamer. They'll keep not using him. For all we know, that he could be their number 1 boundary corner.
Probably better than whoever they have.
But this Titans offense is leagues above this Cardinals defense. The Cardinals defense on paper, to me, is a bottom 10 defense in the league. And the Titans offense is probably there's for sure a top 5 offense on paper.
It's 2 top, 12 offenses against 2 top bottom 10 defenses.
I would say the Titans defense is probably equivalent to the Cardinals, as in I have no idea what's going on at corner. Kevin Byard is there. I really like their front 7, though. The Titans' front 7, I think, is more well-rounded than the Cardinals. Harold Landry, they brought in Bud Dupree. They still have Big Jeff and up the middle with Danico Autry. And then they have Jayon Brown and Rashawn Evans. David Long isn't playing, so I would say him because he's a better coverage guy than Rashawn Evans, but whatever. He's not playing. He's injured. And the Cardinals still don't understand the premise of an offensive line. I think just because Kyler Murray can run, they have just simply forgotten.
Don't forget they got Rodney Hudson.
Okay. Yeah, that's one thing. But they're still paying DJ Humphries a lot of money to be just mediocre. Who's their left guard? Who's their right guard? Who's their right tackle?
Justin Pugh.
Okay, he was really, really bad last year and the year before that.
I don't know the other 2 at the moment, but
they're not good if we can't remember them. Is Marcus Gilbert starting there?
Yeah.
Not very good, I'm going to be honest with you. I think this will be a good game, and this could be bias, but I'm gonna go Titans. Any input, Mr. Co-host?
It's Brian Winters and Kelvin Beachum.
Brian Winters is on the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Kelvin, I could have sworn these players were both on the Jets.
Anyways, I'm going Titans. Derrick Henry, if he gets past like the first like 3 guys on the Cardinals defense, like in 4 plays, he's going to have 100 yards. Like
In the first quarter.
yeah, it's not gonna be a fun day for Cardinals linebackers.
And they're in Nashville. So, granted, the Titans don't really have a home field advantage. People in Tennessee care more about the Volunteers, even though they suck. All right, let's go to this real close matchup.
The Volunteers kicked like a 48-yard field goal on 4th and goal.
Well, interesting. All right. So, we have this really close game. I'm torn. Gavin, you start.
What game is this?
All right, never mind. I'll start. I made up my mind. All right, so this Lions team is looking to take some names. They have Jared Goff at the helm. They have DeAndre Swift, an absolute killer on the field. They have Tyrell Williams. He was on the Chargers at one point. People think the Chargers are going to be good now. That means he's going to be good. TJ Hawkinsock. Loves hacky sack. Defense. Can't forget about their defense. They have... Okay, that's enough talking about their defense. I think this Niners team sucks. Terrible. Lions. All the way, baby.
Oh, you were on a roll there, man. You almost swayed my opinion. There were only 2 good wide receivers, a defensive line, and a few defensive backs away from it.
So an entire team.
But I think I gotta go with the Niners here.
Well, you're wrong, but you know.
You know.
You're wrong, but I'll take your opinion as the force win, or whatever. Now, this is an interesting game, because I think it's closer than, like, what you're going to think in your head.
In my head, I think the Steelers blow it. And they literally just, like, give the Bills the win. That's because I had this weird hate for teams that have been good in the past.
I think this is because your team has been really bad in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, that's unachievable, so now I hate you. So the Bills, I like Stephon Diggs more than I like their corners. Minka Fitzpatrick's really good, but he doesn't play corner. He'll be in coverage a lot, though. Michael Beasley's going to make sure he catches anything he can.
Michael Beasley?
The basketball player. Cole Beasley's gonna make sure he can catch anything he can. Absolutely refuses to leave any strand of doubt that he will not catch the ball. Isaiah McKenzie, it's there.
He's a great punt returner.
They
love him as a punt returner.
They brought in Emmanuel Sanders. It feels like he's like ageless. He's just been the same amount of good like the last like 6 years. Like he hasn't gotten worse or better. He's just Emmanuel Sanders.
Fair.
Their defense, honestly, was disappointing last year. people probably won't say it, but their defense actually wasn't that good last year.
It was weird. Like, their defensive backs.
Tre'Davious White was good because he's Tre'Davious White. Micah Hyde was good.
Their safeties were fine, but they couldn't stop the run. Like, it was really weird when they beat the Ravens in my eyes because they like hadn't stopped the run all year. But,
yeah, they were really lacking the front seven, and I was like, oh well, they could. Well, this is an obvious pick here. They can pick literally any D tackle, and they pick Gregory Rousseau, who is a front seven player. But what impact is he gonna make right now when you're trying to win now?
Third string left end in Madden.
Like, Gregory Rousseau, I don't think was the right pick. Why am I blanking on all these rookies' names that I did like scouting for? The guy the Patriots drafted in the second round. That would have been a better pick. The guy you really liked, D tackle.
Christian Barmore.
That one. I think that would have been a better pick here. It would really helped in the run game, especially. It's kind of all he does.
JOK would have been a good pick.
Yeah, they could have drafted a linebacker. Matt Milano feels like a liability in coverage.
Or H.A. Klein.
It's just not very good. I'm gonna be honest, not very good. I think Najee Harris, this might be one of the few games where it doesn't matter how bad the offensive line is. Because Ed Oliver is the only player of any threat. Tremaine Edmonds is alright, but like Ed Oliver is really the only player of any threat up there.
What about Jeffrey Hughes?
Do you mean Jerry Hughes? And
Jerry, yeah.
has he done really anything other than just be Jerry Hughes, who's been a Bills player for a long time?
Well, yeah, he got old.
Exactly, he got old. I'm still gonna pick the Bills though because mom mentality.
I'll pick the Bills. I think you're wrong with the Steelers O-line not mattering. Because if they had a good O-line, I could see them winning this game. I think they're going to be able to stay in the pocket and they could just not throw at Tre'Davious White. And they'd be fine.
Let's be honest, Ben would have thrown out Tre'Davious White even if he had the time to think about it.
You're probably right, but I mean, and if they had a line that could get like some movement, I think Najee Harris could have a similar performance to what Clyde Edwards-Helaire had going against the Texans last year. I don't think that'll happen. So Bills win.
I think this will be a close game though, but I think the Bills will win. Especially at what's our park name now? What's Orchard Park now? Is this still Orchard Park? I don't know. This game is also going to be. Oh, great! This game is also going to be a masterpiece of garbage.
No defense here.
And if you're the Eagles, no offense either. I have the Falcons winning because Eagles don't have defense, Falcons don't have defense. Eagles don't have Falcons. Wait, Eagles don't have offense. Falcons kind of have offense.
Eagles don't have Falcons.
They do not have any Falcons on their offense. Therefore, Falcons win. I don't even think there's much more to be said. The Eagles seems really...
I think Russell Gage is going to go off.
That's out of all players, that's who you think is going to go off? Russell Gage,
Yeah.
not Kyle Pitts, not Calvin Ridley,
No.
Russell Gage.
No. Russell Gage. Russell Gage is going to be the reason that they win this game against the Eagles. I feel like, yes, Calvin Ridley will have an impact because he's the number one receiver, and that's what he's supposed to do. Kyle Pitts have an impact. He's the tight end. Well, actually, he's not. Hayden Hurst is starting tight end right now.
Kyle Pitts will probably be like their number 2 receiver, if I were to guess.
Yeah. But then there's Russell Gage. The Eagles, very bad in the defensive back area.
Everywhere, actually. There's no.
Well,
They have Derek Barnett.
Parker Cox and Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett. Like, they have a D-line.
Okay, they have 3 players on a D line. What about the rest of the front 7?
They just pretend it's fine.
The Eagles have been pretending it's fine since they won the Super Bowl, and it really hasn't been fine, has it?
Howie Roseman's still there. Just. But I think it's Russell Gage. I don't know.
Whatever, Falcons win. I could also see it where the Falcons lose because they're the Falcons after being up by 47 points. Now, I think that this game is going to be really good, but I think the Browns are a better team on paper. However, at Arrowhead, Andy Reid in September, it's just a losing combination for the Browns. It's their revenge game, but I don't really need to talk about these teams. We already know what they are. Everyone knows what they are. They've been talked about enough. Everyone knows the Chiefs are great. Everyone knows the Browns are going to be great. But it really comes down then to habits and what has happened in the past. And what has continually happened is that Andy Reid is amazing in September. And this is just a poor luck of the draw for the Browns on where they got this game. I think maybe later in the year they have a chance. I think they have a chance now, too. Don't get me wrong. But I think they have a better chance later in the year. But opening year, I think it's the Chiefs.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's going to be a close game. I think the Chiefs actually dominate the Browns in this game. There's Andy Reid with his insane record in September and just being an absolute beast in this month. Then there's also the Browns secondary, which is just
so many safeties in slot corners. Like, how many more do you need? You drafted a linebacker that's pretty much a safety. You signed John Johnson. You didn't need to do that. You brought in Troy Hill. Why not?
I see it as problematic, their secondary, and I think with the improved O-line of the Chiefs, they'll be able to hold off the Browns' elite front 7.
Improved O-line? Wait, hold on. Pause. Return. Improved O-line? What are you talking about? They brought in Orlando Brown, but they also cut Mitchell Schwartz. Mitchell Schwartz is a better player than Orlando Brown.
Really? Joe Thuney is a better player than Eric Fisher.
That's okay. That's fair. But Joe Thuney isn't also playing tackle. Eric Fisher's that Brown's gonna play, and Orlando Brown wasn't that good last year. And I think Myles Garrett is gonna win that matchup 90% of the time.
Orlando Brown was good when he had Marshall Yanda beside him, and now he has Joe Thuney beside him, which is much better than Bradley Bozeman. So,
that's fair. That is fair. I also think it helped with Ronnie Stanley on the other side, because Ronnie Stanley was injured last year, and then Orlando Brown started to struggle even more. He had to play blindside, and then realized, oh wait, I get a lot of money if I play blindside.
Mm-hmm.
And then demanded a trade because Ronnie Stanley is just better. He's just better in every way than Orlando Brown. Tell yourself otherwise, Chiefs fans. You got the wrong Ravens tackle. But I think he is good. Don't get me wrong, but like.
Well, they paid one.
Yeah, Joe Thuney's gonna be all right. Is their center Austin Blythe? Is that who's starting there, or is it Creed Humphrey?
Either one of them. You got if Tardif doesn't come back,
they have Austin Blythe and Kyle Long. They're really depthy at O-line, which I think is more like precaution based on what happened to them last year, where their entire O-line got injured, and Tardif was, being a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs win, and I think they win by quite a bit.
I could see a scenario where that happens, just because of the Browns' either inexperienced DBs or just so many players and to play safety/slot corner. But I think it is Chiefs. So I'll agree with you in that sense. You want this game? You know more about these teams probably than I do.
Packers, Saints.
Yep.
Alright. First, I'm going to say I think the Packers will win this game. Second, I think the Saints could win this game. Now, it's really weird because they're going to be playing in Jacksonville, and that's not going to help the Saints out here. But they are playing with a lot of... They're going to be playing with a lot of, momentum in a way to start the game. They're carrying, this... They're going to carry the same lines on their back like they did back after Katrina. And they're going to have a solid season. I think Jameis Winston has learned from his mistakes in Tampa and from Sean Payton and Drew Brees. It's going to be an elite quarterback. Who he's going to throw to?
Marquez Callaway.
But I think if Jameis Winston decides he doesn't want to throw picks to Jair Alexander tomorrow, I think this could be a Saints victory. He just needs to play conservative football and give the ball to Alvin Kamara. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers, and Devontae Adams is going to be Devontae Adams, and the Packers offense is going to do its thing. But don't count out the Saints.
I think the Saints have a little bit of a chance. I think they would have had a bigger chance if they were, in the Superdome. Unfortunately, wasn't in the cards. I think the Packers actually are going to dominate this because it's the beginning of Aaron Rodgers' must end all run, he's on his complete the arc.
I don't know. I feel like there's bad blood.
And I think the Packers are gonna just take all the players that are angry on the Packers are gonna take out all their frustration on this New Orleans team. So I think the Packers win this. I think Devontae Adams will play well. Aaron Jones will probably play well. I don't know what A.J. Dillon's gonna do. I'm still confused on his role exactly. But he's there. He's a power back, I guess. Sure. I think the Packers do win. Now we probably have the snooze fest of the week. The Denver Broncos at the New York Giants.
What are you talking about? This is a game of the week, man. This one right here.
We have two
game of the week.
We have two defensive-based teams with snooze-fest quarterbacks, receiving cores that should make the quarterbacks better, but will it? And the New Jersey Giants being at home is probably the only reason I would even consider picking them here. Why? Teddy Bridgewater is so much better than Daniel Jones. I think people might put them in the same tier, but I think any day I'd rather... I think if I want a quarterback that's going to win me this game, I would pick Teddy Bridgewater. Because I just think Daniel Jones has been really, really, really bad. And Teddy Bridgewater has been serviceable. And serviceable is better than really bad. I think the Broncos team has a bunch of receivers. Literally, Vic Fangio could close his eyes, point somewhere, and probably be a receiver that could start on the Texans. Granted, any receiver could start on the Texans. Like Josh Reynolds is probably their number one over there. But I think the Broncos defense is really good. They have a lot of corner depth, and I mean by a lot of corner depth, I mean they have like 7 corners that need to figure out how to get on the field. They have really good safeties. They lost Bradley Chubb for the year, I think. It looks like. Who knows what's going on with Von Miller? I like Josie Jewell. I like AJ Johnson. I think the Broncos are a more well-rounded team than the Giants.
Fair enough. I don't know. I think if you gave me what expectations I had for Teddy Bridgewater going into last season on the Broncos team this year, I think I would have the Broncos winning this game. And, this is probably going to be one where I'm thinking about it more and decide, like, tomorrow, definitively. But for now, I'm going to go with the Giants. Honestly, it's going to come down to Saquon Barkley. If he's actually, like, healthy and ready to go, I think the Giants win this game. But I like the Giants receiving core. I like Darius Slayton quite a bit. Kadarius Toney might see the field. I don't know why they drafted him. You know what? I'm just gonna keep doing that. But
just tell me.
James Bradbury made huge leaps. They wanted Dory Jackson and Logan Ryan because I just like Titans defense.
Oh, Titans defense, ex-Titans defense.
And then there's Jabril Peppers. Jabril Peppers has been solid for the Giants.
Don't forget about Blake Martinez. He's actually alright last year.
We don't need to talk about the linebackers.
What about their pass rush?
Leonard Williams was great.
He was good last year only, exclusively. They have Garrett Bowles, who was really, really good last year. Lloyd Cushenberry was good last year. They have Dalton Reisner. They have, what's his name? Graham Glasgow, and they have someone else at right tackle. And they also have Natani Muti, who's really good, but he probably won't start. He might start at right tackle, I don't know. But he's really good, he just has injury problems.
My doorbell just rang.
Well, Gavin's gonna die. I'm gonna force win Broncos here because I believe in them. I believe in them stronger than you believe in the Giants, it feels like. Dolphins, Patriots. Actually, this game might be... We have the Bama boys colliding. Mac Jones and Tua Tagovailoa. Please do not try to say his name. For Christ's sake, Gavin, do not say...
Tua Tagovailoa.
You said it. You said it properly, my God. I like the Dolphins team a lot. I think the Patriots team got a lot better, and I think they are going to be pushing for a playoff spot. I just like... I'm in between here, because it is at Gillette. Which is really hard for the Dolphins don't win in Gillette. It just doesn't happen, really. And I kind of almost in my head didn't even like put that together. And I think these teams are kind of equal, almost. So actually, I'm going to flip my script and I'm going to go with the Patriots. We have Mac Jones, who honestly has shown me more than Tua has, and Mac Jones barely has done anything. Tua has just been Tua. That's what Tua is. He hasn't really done much. And I think the Patriots are going to win this game.
Oh, these teams are very similar. I'm going to choose the Dolphins, but they're similar teams in my eyes.
Alright, well, I'll keep it blank.
Barrel line. But
Alright, we have the Sunday night football matchup. between the Chicago Bears and the Los Angeles Rams. I have Rams. Bears offense with Andy Dalton isn't going to do anything. If Justin Fields was in here, I'd be slightly more intrigued. But that O-line also for the Bears isn't very good. Aaron Donald's going to kill Andy Dalton. They actually got worse on defense, which I think people aren't talking about. They lost a lot of their pieces. But I still think the Rams are just better. Especially with the lack of corners on the Bears. I think the Rams are just a better team overall. And Sean McVay is a better coach than Matt Nagy. Anyone that tells me otherwise is probably a Bears fan. Any thoughts? None? Any thoughts?
No, not really.
I'm assuming you also have the Rams.
Yep.
Alright, and the last game of the week, the Baltimore Ravens against the Vegas Raiders. I think this game's actually pretty easy, even though the Ravens might not have any running backs. Granted, they have Latavius Murray and Le'Veon Bell, but none of them know the playbook yet. They'll probably both tear their ACL. I just think the Ravens are just a better team. Like, in almost every sense of the fashion. Like, I just think they're better. The only position they're probably not better at is tight end. But not even that significant of a decrease. I think it's the Ravens. Kevin. Is there not that? Well, I'm assuming you also can pick Ravens. So the Ravens win that. Alright. So here are our predictions for the week 1 game. Now. Alright. Hold on one moment, please. Now it is time for the week 1 power rankings. Most of this list was constructed. This list was constructed by my co-host, so you'll be writing down it. And some changes will probably be on the fly. Number 1, which we both agreed on will stay, is the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just, they're just the Chiefs. It is what it is. They're just the Chiefs. No more really needs to be said. Just that they are the Chiefs. Number 2, he has the Bills here. I have the Bucs. I understand why he put Bills at 3, but I understand because of that atrocious Thursday Night Football performance. I don't honestly move the Bills down to 4, but he has them at 2 and he has Browns there. That's what's there. So Chiefs 1, I think the Bucs will go 2. I'll leave Bills at 3 for getting them. Browns 4. 5, I'm just going to keep enjoying. I'm going to have the Packers, 6 Niners. 7's can say Titans, sure, why not. 8 Rams, 9 Ravens, these are all fine. 10 Seahawks, football team 11. 12 Dolphins, 13 Cowboys. 14 are Chargers. And the Cardinals behind them, the Steelers and the Colts. I would probably move the Dolphins down to like 15. I have the Saints, the Panthers, the Giants, and the Vikings, the Bears, Patriots, Raiders, Broncos, Eagles, Falcons, Bengals, Lions, Jaguars, Jets, Texans. So that is the power rankings for week 1 of the 2021 NFL season. Anything you disagree with? Let me know in the comments. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. We do one of these every single Saturday. So see you there. Anyways, guys, this is Chatmendy. And I'm Kevin saying peace.